we're explaining the Mishnah. There's the famous Mishnah, Kol Yisrael Yishlan Cheleck Olam Habah. And there's two Mamad, there's one pasuk, and there's two Mamad Chazal, which get a lot of them at first and very nervous, and it gets all the Lubavitchers very excited. There's the pasuk of Amcha Kulam Tzaddikim, the whole nation, all the Yidden are Tzaddikim. Leilam Yisrael, there's the pasuk in Yeshaya. Then there's the mission of Kol Yisrael Yesh Lahem Cheleck Olam Habah. Every Yid has a Cheleck in Olam Habah. No Jew will be left behind. And there's also, and then there's another Maimer Chazal of that Afilu, it says Afilu Peisha Yisrael Mleim Yisus Kerinim. Even the sinners are filled, of the Yidden are filled with mitzvahs like a pomegranate. Yeah.
Just a quick question. The mention of Kaisel Yeshlam Cheleck Habah, I know it's from Pirkei Avos. Ah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, it's in Pirkei. Okay.
So these are the two, one pasuk and two Mamad Chazal, which quite a lot of people are trying to understand. So we'll build up the explanation. We'll see how everyone understands it, and then we'll see the Rebbe's take on it. So the pasuk says, "Kol Yisrael, every Yid has a Cheleck in Olam Habah." How do we know this? We learn this out from the pasuk. Shenemar va'amech kulam tzaddikim. Your nation, they are all tzaddikim. The whole nation, we're all tzaddikim. La'ilam yishul aris, and in the future, we're going to inherit the land. Olam Habah. Neitzar matoi, we are the plantlings of Hashem's hand, of plantlings of Hashem, and the work of His hands to take pride in. So the Metzudas David on Yeshaya over there. So yes, there's an obvious question: how can you say Va'amech Kulam Tzaddikim? Right? You look around; it's not too hard to see that. Clearly, not everyone is a tzaddik. So what's Pshat Va'amech Kulam Tzaddikim? So in the first Maran Makim, the Metzudas David teaches L'Asilava Hashem's going to, before Gula comes, there's going to be Milchama. All the Rishayim are going to be destroyed, and Mamela only the Tzaddikim are going to be left over. So that's what it means. Va'amech kulam tzaddikim. That when Mashiach comes, they're only going to be tzaddikim left over.
Jews are going.
Talking about Yidden.
Says that the Rashayim of the Yehudim will be killed.
Yes, that's how he wants. What does it mean Va'amech, that the Hashem's nation is all tzaddikim? How can that be? So obviously he says it must be that everyone else is going to be killed, and they're only going to be tzaddikim left over. Look in the first Maran Makim.
At that point,
read the lashon inside.
It doesn't mean today. It means
yeah.
At that point.
Look in the first Maran Makim. The Metzudas David says Va'amech, meaning Ha'am Hanishar B'cha, the nation which is going to be left over within you, within the Yidden. You kulam tzaddikim. They will be the leftover. The Yidden who are left over are all going to be tzaddikim. Ki harishayim yichlu b'chad li'Mashiach, because the pains, the hard times before Mashiach, all the rishayim are going to be finished off, and there's only going to be tzaddikim left over.
But Mashiach not going to come till everybody make tshuva. You can't say it.
So how are you going to answer that shayla? I don't know. This time, so the stuff is a great mensch. But you see, this is how he teaches. And there's someone who goes with a similar line. There's the kid that this is how he teaches the pasuk v'amech kulam tzaddikim. Like Kedas Yitzchak, his name is Yitzchak Armo. He wrote the Sefer Kedas Yitzchak, a Chashuv Sefer. So he's bothered with the question: how could you say that Kol Yisrael, every Yid has a Cheleck in Olam Habah? Say Rishayim, say Tzaddikim, everyone gets the same portion. That's evil. That's not right. So look in the second Maran Makim how he phrases he writes the question. He says V'rishayna yesh ladaktik. The first thing, the question you have to ask is Al Kavanas Hatana b'zeh. What is his intention with this? The question is, if the Tana meant to say Shekol Ish Yisrael, that every Yid, Echad Chacham, Ve'echad Rasha, Ve'echad She'eni Yedea, and Say Yid who doesn't know his garnish, Kulam Ke'echad Yesh Lahem Cheleck Olam Habah, all of them as one, we all have a Cheleck in Olam Habah in the world to come. Hine Hu Be'emes Avol Gomer. That's evil. That's not justice. That's not right. And Rasha and the Tzaddik should get the same thing. How can that be? So what's Pshat? So he comes up with the whole Pshat. He says, who is really a Yisrael? Who is a real Yisrael? He says a real Yid is a tzaddik. A Yid is supposed to be a tzaddik. So when it says Kol Yisrael Yesh Lahem Cheleck Olam Habah, it really means a tzaddik. That all the tzaddikim have a Cheleck in Olam Habah.
It says Kol Kol is everybody.
Call every tzaddik, every Yisrael, everyone who's supposed to be a tzaddik.
He explained the word kol go on tzaddikim.
He's not talking about kol, he's talking about the word tzaddikim. Look in the second paragraph of the Akedas Yitzchak. And he says, Onam hakavana hamitis loi. What's the real kavanah of the Mishnah that every yid has a chilek in Olam Habah is shechidish v'amari, which is mechadish and saying who she'eini nikri sol be'emes ki im asher hu tzaddik. That someone a real Yisrael is only someone who's a tzaddik. If he's not a tzaddik, he's not really a Yisrael. Why? Ki Yisrael v'tzaddik is hapchin b'masa, because the word tzaddik and Yisrael are interchangeable. Ki kol Yisrael afi hanhaga shechuyav lisnaig ba. Because every yid, according to the way we are obligated to act, the way we are obligated to conduct ourselves, according to Torah, every yid, al pi din, is mechuyav to be a tzaddik. Therefore, the word tzaddik and Yisrael are interchangeable. The inkain, kol tzaddik al derech emes hu Yisrael. So the emes, when we say every tzaddik is really a Yisrael, that's who a real Yisrael is. That's who a real yid is, a tzaddik.
When somebody born, you didn't born tzaddik, you have to go up to be a tzaddik. Everybody born,
we're required to be a tzaddik. Look how he goes on. He's finished. He goes on further. This also the Navi says that your nation is all tzaddikim. What does that mean? How can we all be tzaddikim? It says there's 2 pages.
Two?
Yeah. That this nation who sits within the Knesset the Tanai of being a Yid is that we should be all tzaddikim. So it says va'amech kulam tzaddikim. It says doesn't mean that all the Yid are tzaddikim. It means that Tanai, to be a Yid, being a Yid means that you're obligated to be a tzaddik. Not that literally every Yid is a tzaddik. And then it goes on to say that they are the plantings of my hand, the planting in my plantings and the work of my hands to take pride in. That comes to teach us all tonight. This shows you this condition. That in order, you need to be a tzaddik in order to be called Yisrael. Someone who is not Hashem can't take pride in him because he's not a tzaddik. He is not the planting of Hashem. He's not the work of his hands. Without a suffix, obviously that's not who he is. He's not a part of the Va'amech Kulam Tzaddikim. So it's very sharp. So he says, what does it mean? Kol Yisrael Yishleim Cheleck Olam Habah. Every yid has a Cheleck Olam Habah. He says it doesn't mean literally that every single yid. How could that be? You look around, they're Rishayim. Why does everyone get the same thing? So he says, a tzaddik, a real Yisrael, is someone who's a tzaddik, because that's where we're obligated. We're obligated to conduct ourselves like tzaddikim. So when it says Yisrael, it really means tzaddikim. So according to him, not every yid has a Cheleck in Olam Habah. So this is, we're going to build our way up better and better.
How does it fit with the Alter Rebbe and the other great Nigun that say that every person has to come back in order to fulfill
all the Taryag Mitzvahs? So why doesn't that work? Why doesn't that fit?
Because if he's a Russia, he's finito.
Right, so I'm
over
saying
here, by the
way Gil, right, but the Gil
come back to
fix what he did.
Yeah.
To fix what he did. Also, if you do tshuva, we'll see later on. Someone does tshuva, you fix your own mistakes, so you're not a Russian. Or
according to the Alter Rebbe,
how can you ever be if you have to come back to fix stuff?
Well, there's also a discussion, first of all, how when one Gilgul comes down into a few bodies, yeah? What does that, when Mashiach comes, what's going to happen? You have one Neshama and 4 bodies.
The best body.
So what's
the best body?
Kulam tzaddikim.
The best body. The best body. The best body is the one that comes back. That's what's brought down.
This question you're adding, there's a few different opinions. What do you say? But this question you're asking touches upon the question. You have one soul and a few bodies. They're all going to come back. How's it going to work?
The body, the best refined body will be the one.
So not
the way it works is that, let's say someone came down, so that part of the neshama which did not make tikkun the first time, that part comes down, but the other parts remain in the first part with the first part.
I think it's not Arizal that, right? It's what you're saying. Yeah. There's different explanations, right? He's saying that's different than what you were saying. It's not just the best body. Everybody comes up, but with a different part of the neshama. So It's really the question.
More refined.
The Shema is a very complex thing. It's not just like a solid hunk. It's a very complex thing.
Absolutely.
But according to the Tanya, most of us Benonim. So why the Tzaddikim?
Tzaddikim over here, we're going to see there's tzaddik in different places means a different thing. Usually in this context, a tzaddik means when you measure on a scale, is it more mitzvahs or more averos? Which one's heavier? In tzaddik, there's a tzaddik in your actions and what you do, in your thought, speech, and action. That's the tzaddik that's usually discussed. The tzaddik in Tanya is talking about a tzaddik in your midos, in who the person is, not in what you do, and who you are. Did you destroy your Yetzer Hara? There's different levels of the tzaddik. And we'll see at the Rebbe in the end. We'll see the Rebbe has a third explanation of tzaddik. We'll get to it. But so now we read. So Akedas Yitzchak teaches that va'amichon tzaddikim and kol Yisrael isha and Cheleck Hamabah is not kipshuta. It only means tzaddikim. A Yisrael is a tzaddik. We'll see. So that's his teich. We'll see now that there's a Medrash Shmuel who has another teich, and it shows a Pirush on Pirkei Avos. So he teaches that Ba'amichum Tzaddikim, it's going on all the Yidden. It is going that Ba'amichum Tzaddikim and Kol Yisrael Yishlam Cheleck Hamabah is going on every single Yid. How could it be? Not everyone is a tzaddik. So he says that it means eventually they're going to come tzaddikim. They're going to go through tshuva. They're going to become a tzaddik eventually. They're going to do tshuva, or they're going to get punished. Whatever happened, they're going to get their averos. They're going to get fixed up. Look in the third line of Mokim. He say the Medrash Shmuel writes that Kol Yisrael Loimar. What it means to say is Af Oisam Shemesu Dalin Mises based in. Even though people who die with Dalin Mises based in, which was being discussed in Sanhedrin over there, Yeshlan Cheleck Olam Habah. Even them who are Rasha Gomer, who was Chayiv Nisan, got killed. They also have a Cheleck Olam Habah. Why? Ki Misasam Kaparosam. Their Misa was the kapara for their averos. They already were forgiven for what they did wrong. And they said viday before they got killed, so they did tshuva for all their averos, and that's why they could still have a Cheleck in Olam Habah. This is what means that your whole nation is tzaddikim. Meaning the hechrach yu kulam tzaddikim. They're going to be forced to be tzaddikim. The Eibusher is making these kuntzim and these tricks to make sure no one gets away. The Eibusher is going to make sure that no one gets away being a Rosh. He's going to make sure everyone comes back in the end. And then all the Rishonim are going to be fixed and they're going to become better. And then we're going to inherit Olam Habah. And he goes on.
So why we have Gehenna? If everybody Yoresh Olam Habah,
how do they get fixed up? That's one of the ways.
It's a show.
That's one of the ways they get fixed up.
They use up the
Look,
they don't get perfected in that.
He has another really nice word. He explains the end of the pasuk in Yeshaya. He says, "V'amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, lama ani oiseh kol zeh." Why is Eibusher making himself mishulgan to make sure every year does tshuva and every year comes back? But fishehem neitzam atay, because they are the plantings, my plantings, and they're the work of my hands. V'imkein muchrach hu shemaiseh yelav v'liyu lispar. It has to be that Hashem, that the work of Hashem's hands, he has to be able to take pride in. It can't be that the work of Hashem's hand is going to get away with being a Rasha. Where the work of Hashem's hand, Hashem is going to make sure every Yid comes back. The Eibusher is going to make sure that every Yid, that it's going to happen, and it's going to happen that every Yid has a Cheleck in Olam Habah.
Including Mr. Yeshua.
So,
according to this, yes.
According to this.
So this question is about people who are Chayiv Kares. It says certain people that Ilush Ein Lehem Cheleck Olam Habah, right? Whatever. That's the discussion. The second half of this year, but we'll get to that soon. So the way he teaches that when it says Kol Yisrael Yishlam Cheleck Olam Habah, it literally means every Yid, but it doesn't mean the way they are now. When we say V'amich Kulam Tzaddikim, it doesn't mean that every Yid is a tzaddik now, because you see the Yidden that are not tzaddikim. So he says what it means is that they're going to come tzaddikim. Hashem's gonna make sure they eventually do tshuva, and they're going to have a kapara for all their averos. So this is how the Medrash Shmuel explains.
it's good for us. How he explains.
So we'll see, and it's only going to.
All right.
Before we go to the way the Rebbe teaches this, we'll first go on to the other Maimer Chazal, and it says Afilu Peishe Yisrael Malay Mitzvahs Karimim. Even the sinners from the Yidden are full mitzvah like Karimim. So the famous question is, how if they're a sinner, how could they have so many mitzvahs? Have so many mitzvahs? Why are they a sinner? So before we get into the question,
why can't you do both?
What?
Why can't somebody do both?
So why can't they do both? Have a lot of mitzvahs and a lot of averis.
Yeah.
Why so many?
Nobody's all evil. Nobody's all good. Like you have Tzaddik Gamor that talks that level.
So first, let's read the Gemara inside. We'll see where the source of this Maimer Chazal that Afilu Peishi Sol name is Krimin. We'll see where it comes from, and then we'll get into the questions that are asked. So in the fourth Mara Makim, it's a Gemara in Erevin, Yud Tesam Aleph. I think it also comes up in Chagiga. So the Gemara brings Amar Ish Lakish that Peishi Yisrael ain't Gehinnom Shalatas Behem. That Peishi Yisrael, the fire of Gehinnom can't rule over them, meaning it won't completely destroy them. They'll sit there, but they're not going to get they're not going to get completely destroyed. So, and how do we know this? Kal v'chemer means Mizbeach Hazav. He learns that from a Kal v'chemer from the Mizbeach Hazav in the Beis Hamikdash. Ma Mizbeach Hazav she'ein alav ela ka'ivi dinar zav. The Mizbeach Hazav only had a thin layer of gold on the top of it. Omad kama shonim, and it stood so many years. V'lei shalat v'ya'or, and the fire didn't burn it; it didn't melt the gold. Peishi Yisrael, so when it comes to Yidden who do Averis, Shemalei mitzvahs kirimin, they are filled with so many mitzvahs like a pomegranate, which is stuffed with mitzvahs. Shenemar, how do we know this? Kepela charim and rakasechon. From Shir Hashirim, Kepela charim and rakasechon. I'm not sure, I don't remember what the Pasha says.
I think it's Rakaseich.
I
think it's Rakaseich.
Rakasech. Yeah, Rakasech. But Omar Yishalkish. Ahead?
Raka is ahead.
Raka is ahead.
Okay, so Kepelchin Rakasech. But Amar Ish Rab Shim ben Lakish Atiki Rakasech Ela Rekasecha. Don't teach Rakasech, rather Rekasecha. The empty ones from the Yidden, they're like a Pelach Harimin. That was Shafilu Rekan Shevecha. Even the empty, the low lights of the Yidden, they're Malay Mrs. Kirimin. So Achas Kama V'Kama. How much more so that the fire of the Gehenna won't be able to completely destroy them? If the Mizbeach Hazav, which only a thin level of gold was able to protect it from the fire,
it's very schwach.
How much? What?
It's very schwach answer.
Saying the Kal v'chemer. Okay, that's how he learns it out.
To say that it doesn't destroy them, that's one thing. But to say that it doesn't affect them is something totally different. I mean, how else would they be purified?
It certainly affects them. I think about Pasha Pshat is that they won't be completely destroyed. They won't.
Maybe that's why it says sholetet for him. Like sholet means to rule.
It doesn't completely destroy it.
Yeah,
obviously, I'm saying during Gehenna, something's happening over there. They're not just sitting there. They're not just sitting by the fireplace.
They don't have the weather that we have outside. It's a little bit more global warm.
So this is the famous Maimer Chazal. This is the famous Maimer Chazal that Afilu Peishi Yisrael name is Kirimin. So the first, so Yenis and Aishitz in his Sefer Yaris Dvash, he asked a question that Rimain is filled, it's mamish stuffed with pomegranates. It's so full, he can't fit anything in there. Someone's so full of mitzvahs, how does he have room to do Averis? So this is his question. Look in the fifth Maramakim, Yaris Dvash. It says, Asha l'chira tamua, it's really strange, how like Rimain moli gareinim Asha ein ponil losum l'seiche kachuta saira, it's so full of pomegranates that there's no room to even stick a little hair in there. If they really filled with so many mitzvahs, there's no room for any of us to follow them. So what's pshat? So he has a pshat which I don't think most people heard of, but he says that before this he's explaining how the Yetzer Hara is a smart guy. He tricks everyone. He gets people to get into fights, and they think they're doing things l'shem shemayim. They think they're doing big mitzvahs, they're making fights, and they think they're doing it for a good cause, but really they're doing a lot of big avedas. So he says, so too over here, what does it mean, Peishi Yisrael? How can I have both? He says, no, the people, they are doing avedas, but why Malayin Mitzvahs Kirimin, they think they're Malayin Mitzvahs Kirimin.
That's a big pusher.
They think they're full of mitzvahs like Kirimin. Look what he writes. He says, Aval kacha kavana. He says, this is the intention. Kiba avlisinu haravi Malayin avedas. So because in our terrible situation, they are filled with avedas. Aval rubam leibameri. They're not doing it on purpose. Like Daitem Malayin Mitzvahs Kirimin. If you ask them, they think they're the biggest tzaddik. They're full of mitzvahs like Kirimin. They were tricked by the Yetzer Hara to think they're doing these wonderful things. To them, they think they're doing tremendous mitzvahs. It's by accident. They think they're doing L'Shem Shemayim. They think they're doing good things. They think they're making these fights L'Shem Shemayim. They think they're full of mitzvahs, but really they're full of avedas.
In Rosh Hashanah,
in Yom Kippur,
In Rosh Hashanah we say Sheniyeh Meleim Mitzvot Karimon. We all wanted to have so much mitzvot like the Rimon. Cannot count it so many mitzvot. Like he's saying, you cannot put one Avera there, no room. So we're all thinking to do mitzvot Karimon.
The Rimon has 613.
613, yeah. You counted one time?
Yes.
So what's this is
counted one.
This is
I trust the people who said that.
He trusts people who said
this is Yenis and Aishit's pshat. This is how he teaches the Maimer Chazal. There is
Your Rimon had some Averas also.
there is another pshat from the Kli Yakar. The Kli Yakar has another pshat. He has a much nicer pshat. He says that is kipshute. He takes it more literal. That it is every year that's filled. That it is mitzvahs. But he says, how could it be both? So he says, I know, really true, they are filled with Averis, but it's the possible, the Gemara is talking about once they do tshuva. When they do tshuva, all those Averis will be transformed into mitzvahs, and then they will, that's what it means that they will be filled with mitzvahs like a pomegranate. Because even though right now they're filled with Averis, but when they do real tshuva, all those Averis are going to be transformed into mitzvahs. So look in the 6th Maramaka, in the Kli Yakar. Right, V'razal Amru Kepelach Harimon Rakasecha, that Afilu Reikim Shevcham Malay Mitzvahs Kerimin. Even the empty, the little lives are filled with mitzvahs like a pomegranate. The Kasha Alzeh Im Heim Malay Mitzvahs Kerimin Im Keim Lama Karam Reikim. Why are you calling them empty people if they're filled with mitzvahs like a pomegranate? Well, they're not empty, they're stuffed. So Ella, rather, he says, Ella Vade Shala Tshuva Dabru. Rather, obviously, it's talking about once they do tshuva. He called Payel Reiksha Behem. Because every empty thing in them, the Hainu Ha'avain, every Avera, Mimenu Yismalu mitzvahs, they will become full of mitzvahs. This emptiness and all these Averas will become like merits. The Yalagam Ha'avain L'Reich Nichech Kamei HaMitzvahs, and everything will be, and he will be a beautiful person.
But not everybody making tshuva. So many people, Rashaim, till the last minute in their life, they don't make tshuva.
We saw the Medrash Shmuel says Hashem makes sure that everyone, either their misa is their kapara before they die. They think tshuva. They have a tshuva. Every year, eventually, Hashem's not going to let anyone get away. They're going to do tshuva. They're going to have a kapara, and then so the Kli Yakar teaches what it means that they're really Mrs. Keriman. It doesn't mean now. It doesn't mean now they're filled with like everything. It means that once they do tshuva, similar to the Medrash Shmuel. It doesn't mean now that all Yidden are tzaddik, and it doesn't mean now. It means eventually they're going to become. So similar line of thought. You could put the Akedos Yitzchak together with the Yenis and Aishitz, and put the Medrash Shmuel together with the Kli Yakar. Similar, along the same lines.
But it could be that in this world also a person did tshuva in such a way that all is available became mitzvahs.
Right, but the question is, could you teach that even now he's only Mrs. Krimian? So far, or how can you teach even now?
Well, you know what, I don't know if it applies to you, but just interject. It says somewhere in the Gemara, Im asisa chavilas shal averes, what does it say? Chavilas shal mitzvahs connecta. If they say that, if a person did big piles of averes, he should do piles and mitzvahs connect them. So you see that it's possible
that you could have both.
That a human being could. We see that people that have a lot of mitzvahs and a lot of averes.
But we say that Malay mitzvahs Keriman, the Keriman is stuffed with mitzvahs. There's no room for anything else inside them. Now that we call them a rake, right? We're calling them a rake, an empty person. Someone has so many mitzvahs. Why is he a rake? Why is he an empty person? And there's the Maimer in Torah, the Rebbe also, the Alter Rebbe explains it also not literally. He says, Peshin doesn't mean Chas v'Shalom someone does Avedas. It means Amoris, a simple person who doesn't learn Torah. He's explaining over there how through Limud Torah, where Mamshech, we bring down Elikus, we bring down holiness into this world through our Limud Torah. Alter Rebbe goes on to say that also people who don't learn so much Torah, through their doing mitzvahs, they also accomplish the same thing. That's what it means. Peishis Alainus is Krimin. That through their mitzvahs they accomplish. Well, they also bring down Hashem into this world, just like Tzaddikim who learn Torah.
It doesn't say that in somebody Tshuva calls Zedonot Nefot LeMitzvot.
That's what the Kli Yakar was talking about. The Kli Yakar was saying that it's going to be changed. Look in the seventh Maramakim. Is a Maimer Parshas Truma. The Alter Rebbe writes, "Kireikim ein pirush peishim u'mardim chas v'shalom." When we say empty people, it doesn't mean people who mamish do averos and they sin. It just means that they don't learn Torah. But they're tanka filled with mitzvahs and good midas and good things. And their mitzvahs also awaken the pleasure by Hashem, just like the Tzeleck Torah of the big Tzaddikim. So also over here in the Smai, you see Alter Rebbe is not teaching a kipshutin. So now assisting those Purushim, we're going to come to how the Rebbe teaches it. So the Rebbe teaches it. The Rebbe teaches that everything is kipshutin. Amcha Kun Tzaddikim means every yid is a tzaddik, and Kol Yisrael Yishon Cheleck Olam Habah means every yid has a Cheleck in Olam Habah. And when we say every yid is made in line this means kipshutin, every yid is full of mitzvahs like a pomegranate. And not only in the future that eventually they will be like that, and eventually they will be tshuva. Even now, even the way they are right now, which they seem to be a Russia, even right now they're a tzaddik, they're full of mitzvahs like a rim, and then they have a Cheleck in Olam Habah. Okay, so the question is how. So, how could this be? So first the Rebbe says that, what's the difference between Olam Habah and Gan Eden? Right, we have Olam Habah and Gan Eden is schar for what we do in this world. So why do we have two different rewards? There's a reward in Gan Eden, and then there's Olam Habah. Why is it two different things?
One's spiritual, one's physical.
Why do we need two? Why can't we have just one together? So he brings us to an Alter Rebbe, and the Rebbeim explain that Gan Eden is reward for the Limud HaTorah. That's the word for Limud HaTorah, and that's why it's only for the neshamas, because mainly who's involved with Limud HaTorah is mainly the thinking part of the person, the neshama, not the body. The body isn't involved so much. Whereas Olam Habah, that's the reward for the mitzvahs that we do. So the reward for the mitzvahs we do, that's going to be down here in this world with our body, because the mitzvahs were mainly done with our body, with our physical body. So,
but isn't Olam Habah supposed to be even a higher level of experiencing the?
So it is going to be. It's going to be a much higher level of godliness, but it's going to be in the physical world. Yeah. But it's still going to be in the physical world. Okay. So first let's read this piece of the Maimer. Look in the 8th Maramokim, the first paragraph. There it says, "Shahaschar de Gan Eden hu al Isek HaTorah." It's for the Olam Habah. That's for doing mitzvahs. V'zehu shegan Eden hu Olam HaNeshamis, and this is why Gan Eden is a world of neshamis. Uba Olam HaTchiyah yu neshamis v'gufim, whereas by Tchiyas HaMesim, it's 2 pages. By Tchiyas HaMesim, it's going to be neshamis in their body. Why? Ki Isek HaTorah shaykh be'ikar lahaneshama, because Limud HaTorah is mainly with the neshama, and Kiyah HaMitzvahs is mainly with the body. So that's why that's the difference between Olam Habah and Gan Eden. So after the Rebbe explains this, you could understand why Olam Habah, every yid has a Cheleck in Olam Habah. Because when it comes to mitzvahs, when it comes to Limud HaTorah, you have differences. Some people aren't so smart; they can't learn so much. Not everyone has Limud HaTorah. Not everyone's a Talmud Chacham. But when it comes to mitzvahs, there are no differentiation. There are no differences between yidden. Afilu peishish al leim Mrs. Krimen means literally that you cannot find a yid that is stuffed that did so many mitzvahs. Yeah, even without realizing it, even people who are not trying to, they're trying not to, they still end up doing it. You can't get away from it. So since every yid is filled with so many mitzvahs, that's why everyone has a Cheleck in Olam Habah, because that's the reward for the mitzvahs. And when it comes to mitzvahs, all yidden have a Cheleck over there.
The people have Gan Eden in this world and the Olam Habah. They sit learning all day long, that's Gan Eden, and then they get Sachar.
What about the value of each mitzvah is the same also? Even when you are tzaddik or you are a poor person, is it the same value of a mitzvah? You're doing it either way. So my question is, if I'm a poor person and I'm doing this mitzvah, even though I'm a poor person,
you mean like
poor
Russia?
From that condition of doing the mitzvah, and I'm a wealthy man and I do this mitzvah, even though I'm doing it, is it has the same value in Shemayim?
They give $5, and you give $5.
The Rambam writes that when Hashem measures people that are Averis, he doesn't only measure by how many Averis, he also measures by the type of mitzvahs and the type of Averis, how hard you work, how much energy you put into
for
it.
that specific mitzvah, so there's a value.
So you can have two people do the same mitzvah, but for some person it's a lot harder, it's worth a lot more. His mitzvah is a lot more special.
There's certain people that have certain mitzvah, this is the mitzvah.
Let's read the second paragraph in the 8th Maramokim. The Rebbe explains, we'll say what we just said outside, we'll read it inside. The Mishnah. This is why the Mishnah goes on to say, that in that later that we're all going to inherit Eretz Yisrael, and all the Yidden are tzaddikim. Why? When we bring the pasuk Tzaddikim, we're not only bringing a proof that to show that every Yidden has a cheleck in the world to come. We're also it's also explaining why every Yidden has a cheleck in Olam Habah. How so? So there says a gewaltige word that the Misha Mekayim Mitzvahs Nika B'Shem Tzaddik. The Rebbe has a third taich in what a tzaddik is. Usually you think of tzaddik, one simple taich is tzaddik is how many averis. If you have more averis than mitzvahs, you're a tzaddik. A second taich you have in Tanya is that what type of person you are. If you destroyed your Yetzer Hara, if you have no Yetzer Hara, then you're a tzaddik. Here the Rebbe says that what's a tzaddik? All mitzvahs are called tzedakah. The mitzvahs are called b'shem tzedakah. So we're saying someone's a tzaddik, meaning he is a person that does mitzvahs. It's a third taich in tzaddik. Tzaddik, it doesn't mean that he has more averis. It doesn't mean that he does have Yetzer Hara. It means that this is a yid who he does mitzvahs. He's a yid who does mitzvahs. And all yidden are do mitzvahs. Like that reads inside. The Misha Mekayim mitzvahs nikar b'shem tzaddik. Someone who does mitzvahs is called a tzaddik. The kol ha-mitzvahs nikar b'shem tzedakah. They're all called b'shem tzedakah. Or Mekayim ha-mitzvahs nikar b'shem tzaddik. And people who do these mitzvahs, people who do the tzedakah, they are called tzaddikim.
It's a different order.
It's a whole other taich. The kivan sheva amcha kun tzaddikim, and since that all Yidden are tzaddikim, because we're all full of mitzvahs, shekol yisha afila peishin behem shebehem mekaymi mitzvahs, that even the sinners from the Yidden do mitzvahs. The yeseda mitzvah. Not only that, there says another gewaltige word, shei meleim mitzvahs. What does it mean that we say they're meleim mitzvahs, they're filled with mitzvahs like a pomegranate? There are taiches. You see, the ha-mitzvah shemekaymi memalin kol mitzvahs, and their whole existence, their whole being is filled with the mitzvahs. Usually you'll think that, people, he's an awkward person, he's a lowlife, that's his main thing. It happens to be, he did a lot of mitzvahs, but who is he really? He's a sinner. The Rebbe says, no, when we say, lay mitzvahs krimen, and I feel patient, lay mitzvahs krimen, who are they really? You don't know, you think this person is really a lowlife, you don't know who this yid really is. This yid is really lay mitzvahs krimen, his real existence, who is he? His whole mitzvahs is full with mitzvahs, is full with goodness. He has a lot of bad things he does, but that's not who he is. His real mitzvahs is the mitzvahs.
What he's saying here, the few mitzvot that he does with all his attention is better than a lot of us do so many mitzvot, and he do very few, but he do it better.
No, we didn't say that. Doesn't mean he's better than the tzaddik. It could be this person is not better than the tzaddik, and he'll probably get his punishment.
Tzaddik is a mitzvah.
I'll say
the word mitzvah is a tzaddik.
He'll have to get fixed up for his averis that he did. It doesn't mean that. Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if that means he's going to get out scot-free, but it means that every yid that means it's tzaddik, and every yid has a cheleck in Olam Habah. He might have to go through whatever he goes through, but every yid has a cheleck in Olam Habah.
I'm not sure if you can really take this whole statement of Malay mitzvot krimen, if you can take it as mathematically so clear cut as it is. Maybe it's just like a figure of speech, really. But not that you can put it up to mathematical. There's no room for a sin to get in there. Maybe it's
right. So the Rebbe is not teaching mathematically. The Rebbe is teaching that what do you mean it fills in? It could be this person only did 100 mitzvahs his whole life, and he did a few dozen averis. But who fills him? Who is he really? Right? You can have a person. He goes to he works most of the day. He comes home. He only gets to spend time with his kids for 2 hours. Where is the person really? Where is his pleasure? Where is his pleasure? Where does he really lie? Not in the work. Where he really lies is in those 2 hours where he spends time with his family. Similarly, someone who could be he did a lot more averis than mitzvahs, but where is he really? Where does a person really express himself? It's in the mitzvahs. It's in the mitzvahs he does. It's not in the averis. Who is he really? Where do you see where do you really see the yid?
In other words, even one mitzvah that the person do is a tzaddik. Because if the mitzvah is a tzaddik,
that's who he is.
That's his purpose. That's his whole.
But it's not.
All his life could be a averis there, but in one mitzvah, this mitzvah is a tzaddik. Because this is
but you can also take malay mitzvah kunik pshuti that it's more than one mitzvah. Every the stuff.
Malay is not one; it's full.
There's another really nice word that the question is, why is it that every yid is malay mitzvahs kurim? How could it be that no one can get away from it? So the Rebbe explains there's a sikha in Cheleck Yud Zayin. The Rebbe explains why it has to be like that. So the Rebbe says simply you would think why it's like that is because mitzvahs is a very simple thing. It doesn't. You don't have to be too. You hold the door open for someone. You help someone out. It's a really simple thing, and any not too intelligent person could do a mitzvah. So you would think that's why everyone is the same and everyone has mitzvahs. But the Rebbe takes so much of it. The Rebbe says no, to the contrary, that the mitzvahs are that mitzvahs are how the ultimate goal is that we should do physical mitzvahs.
Holding the hesog, it's a mitzvah.
Doing mitzvahs that is such a powerful thing. It's something so deep. Hashem wants it so badly that our neshama is in touch with it. Our neshama is I'm not going to say a part of Hashem because someone's going to have problems with that, but it's a godly soul. It's a godly soul, and it's in tune with what Hashem wants. And since it's so in tune with it, you can't get away with it. Every year eventually is going to do mitzvahs.
They say about time putting on film. There's a story there. A guy goes to the Koisel and he's looking at the Lubavitch and says, I don't like you guys. Every single time I'm trying to do Avera, I have a picture of putting on film with you guys. You understand? It's like the image is there.
There's a story that brings out this point very nicely, or a story. They say there's a joke about the Jewish atheist. And after he went through a lot of tsaras in the Holocaust and a lot of not good things, and he was very angry, and he decides he doesn't believe in the Eibusher anymore. So he decides he's moving out to Texas, where he found a shtetl where there's no Yidden, and he sends to public school. There's no Eibusher, there's no nothing. So he's living his life without the Eibusher. Everything's going very nice. And Mitamal one day, the priest comes to school, and the Pope comes, and he's speaking with the kids. He's explaining to them that there's a Yashka, and there's a Trinity, there's a this, and there's a that, and the kids are all thrilled. They never heard of such a thing. There's a Eibusher, and there's a Yashka, and he comes home, he says, Daddy, guess what happened? The Pope came to school, he taught us about this, and he taught us about that. There's a Yashka and this. And his father's listening, he gets red in the face, and he is furious, and he yells at his kid, there's no such thing, there's no Yashka, there's no Trinity, there's only one God, the God of the Jews, and we don't believe in him. so it's a joke, but there's a powerful teichen to it. You see, you can have a Yid who, while he's a Russian, you see a Yid while he's busy not believing in the Eibusher and busy being an atheist, he's still in the kindness he's still in the kind of the second of the Sersad Divrei not to believe in foreign gods, right?
You do one on one side, still doing it.
You can't say he's Mekayim a mitzvah because if he doesn't even believe in the concept of a mitzvah.
Where is that coming from? Who made him yell out? Who made him yell out that there's no such thing? Where did that come from? That was his neshama. That was his neshama that wanted to do the Eibusher.
He identifies like a cultural Jew. Like there's plenty of cultural Jews.
That's what it looks like on the outside.
They don't believe in God. They don't.
That's what it looks like.
They just there's something like they're Irishmen, they're Jews.
That's what it looks like on the outside. That's the scientific explanation. But the real explanation, what's really going on, what's the real mechanics, what's really going on underneath the surface? The Yid has a neshama, and the neshama you can't stand it. This Avodah Zarah. Yeah, there's. So you can't. So this is pshat. I feel patiently on Lisa's Karimin. The Rebbe Na'ara also points over there that it's also similar to that. We say Shein Shemayim Shagar V'Fikol. That everywhere you go, people are always saying, thank God, Baruch Hashem. Everyone's always saying, but people don't think about it. A friend of mine told me he was arguing with some classmate of his who decided he was an atheist, and he was harassing him. You're not really atheist. You don't really. You're just saying it to be cool. It's like, no, I swear to God, I'm an atheist.
I'm an atheist. It just comes out of his mouth.
You can't run away from it. You're stuck with it. So you see, why is Shem Shenayim Shagar Fikol? So Alter Rebbe explains that it's because since Hashem is everywhere, Hashem's even though we can't see him, but Hashem himself, he is everywhere. We can't ever. We're so in tune with it. We're so in tune with it that it just happens. We don't see him. The conscious part of us isn't aware of it, but he's everywhere, and we're so in tune with it, the subconscious, that it just happens. You can't run away from it. Yeah. Similarly, when it comes to, we say, I feel patience on the Elisa's Karimim, you can't get away from it. The neshama is there, the neshama knows what Hashem wants, and it tricks you into doing mitzvahs.
My father was giving a speech in a kibbutz. You know what a kibbutz?
Yeah.
In Israel, and not just a kibbutz Shemor HaTzeir. They are like the lefty of the left.
They're against everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So he's speaking about the Eibusher, and they're really strong. We don't believe in this. So he asked him, "What's you going up in the kibbutz?" So he says, whatever, wheat, and this. And he said, how do you get? He said, we have a sprinkler system. And then he said, with the water to the sprinkler system, he said, we have a big pool, and we have pumps and this. Explain to him, he said, how the water come to the pool? Kids, he keep telling him that we need the rain. Yes, so they said, at one point it's rain, the pool get full, and that's how we always go. So then if it doesn't rain, we have a different way to get water. From where? From the other place. And if it doesn't rain over there, so the guy gets nervous, but then he says, Mata doeg, Elokim gadol.
You can't get away from it.
Okay, so that's a joke, but if you're talking to intelligent people, that's not going to work.
Sometimes intelligence is the problem. Sometimes we're too smart to recognize reality.
But they are tzaddikim also. They are tzaddikim also. We have to find it.
They're also tzaddikim. They themselves don't realize it. Even the big part.
You need to learn. You need to read the Yom Yom sometimes. You know the Yom Yom. Yeah. It has a good thing that this has. He says something about not that you're too smart. That you have to leave all the smart things.
There's a nice story that brings it out. It was I think the Tzaddik Rebbe went for a walk with Rebbe Rashab, and they went to a museum where they had these a bunch of paintings from a big artist. And so so a lot of people were marveling at this one painting where there was a bird resting on a stalk, on whatever it was resting on. So everyone was marveling at it. The beauty is so perfect and so this. And some farmer in his overalls rolls in, and he takes one look at it, and he's like, "The guy doesn't know what he's doing." So everyone was like fuming mad. Who are you? How do you have a chutzpah, you little like farmer? So he says, every simple farmer knows that when a bird lands on a stalk, it starts bending down. The bird is standing on the stalk, and it's standing straight up. And that doesn't happen. So what you see from the story, you get that people are so marveled, they're all caught up in the beauty and the perfection of the way he painted and had this beauty. You're caught so much in the details, you forget the simple reality. You forget the simple reality. You can't. You forget about that. There's gravity because you're so involved with how perfectly painted, how he did the eyes, and what type of paint he used. Sometimes you're too caught up with that. You forget about the simple facts. So similarly, you're right. An intellectual person would have a hard time relating to this, but
because it's not sechel, it's emunah.
No, it's
you ask him to have something with emunah, and you want to have with sechel, not with emunah. That's what it's hard to have.
An intellectual person could argue and say that it's for a different reason, but I was telling you that he sees the truth. He sees what's really going on, and he's telling you this is the real mechanics. What's going on underneath everything.
Rabbi, he used to be scientist. That's why he's saying.
He's still a scientist. He's not used to.
No matter how smart you are, you come to the physical mitzvah to tefillin. You put tefillin like Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu put tefillin the same way we all put tefillin. Moshe Rabbeinu all the same way we all also.
There's one more thing that Rebbe takes it a step further. So till now we say why is it that every yid has a Cheleck in Olam Habah? Because every yid does mitzvahs, right? Because every yid is a tzaddik, every yid does mitzvahs.
Here you said more. Here you said that there's a Cheleck from the Hashem.
And that's why he does mitzvahs. That's why every yid has mitzvahs. Because every yid is
and he's a tzaddik.
Because every yid is a Cheleck lekam imal mamish, has an neshama from Hashem. That's why every yid, even without wanting to, he ends up doing mitzvahs. So, but even now, till now, we only explained the whole reason every yid has a Cheleck in Olam Habah is only because he did mitzvahs. It's your word for his mitzvahs.
So there are some Jews who don't do mitzvot.
No, there's no such thing.
There is no such thing. That's what he's trying to tell you.
That's what he's saying. There's no such thing. You will not find a yid who did not help someone and did not help
give someone to cross the street.
Didn't do a favor. You will not find a yid that has done so many good things. You will not find it. It doesn't exist.
But the same token, you can say there's no such thing as a guy who has not done some good thing in his lifetime.
So maybe, but on a much greater level by Yid, because Yid has an Neshama, which is a part of Hashem. So true. Even by Goyim, we say Shein Shayin Shagar Rafiko is also by the Goyim. The Goyim also say thank God and all these things because they also can't get away from the fact. It's true. Yeah, you also find it, but it's on a much higher level by Yid. So, but the Rebbe says that till now we only said the whole reason why we have a Cheleck in Olam Habah is because we did mitzvahs. But the Rebbe But the Rebbe is bothered by the question. The Rebbe says at the end of the pasuk, it says "Va'amech kum tzaddikim." We're all tzaddikim. La'ilam Yeshuaris, and we will inherit the land of Eretz Yisrael. And we will inherit Olam Habah. Why? Because they are the Neitzer Matai Masi Adli Spurs. And Neitzer Matai, because we are the plantings of Hashem's hand. That's not something we did to earn. That's just who we are.
He did it.
It seems like if you read from if you take that, if you want to read the possibility, it seems the reason everyone has a Cheleck and Olam Habah is because we are because we're the Cheleck of the Kav because our neshama is a part of Hashem. So this seems differently. So the Rebbe says it's true. There's two levels in Olam Habah. The first level in Olam Habah is where we will realize the greatness of our, get the reward for our mitzvahs, for all the mitzvahs we did. But then there's going to be a second stage in Olam Habah that we will appreciate, will be revealed how great a Yid is. That a Yid is one with that we are Hashem's children. A Yid is one with Hashem. Not only his neshama, but our body is also loved by Hashem so much. And therefore, that is why every Yid has a Cheleck in Olam Habah, just because of who we are. Because we are Hashem's children, that's why every Yid has a Cheleck in Olam Habah. Read in the 10th Ma'amakim, from the same Maimer, in different Maskell, about Habib and Tchias Reisen. We didn't do 9, but I said it outside.
Okay.
And Omnam, Al Pizat Tzarchlaf, Mashem Evid Mishnah, Gam Hemshech HaKosuk, you have to understand why the Mishnah brings the continuation of the Pasuk, Neitzar Matay Masi Adli Spar, that we are the plantlings of Hashem and the work of His hands to take pride in. This that we are the plantings of Hashem and the work of His hands, it's just because of who we are. Even before we did the mitzvahs, we were already the plantings of Hashem. So it's also just because of the way we are inside ourselves. That's also why we have a Cheleck in Olam Habah. So it's a gewaltige word. So appreciate for the other explanations we gave before. We said either we want to say that we say Kol Yisrael Yisrael Cheleck Habah Va'amech Kum Tzaddikim. Or we have some of the people want to say that it doesn't mean Kipshutei. It's only the Tzaddikim. It's not everyone. And then we had other people wanted to teach that we had other Mepharshim that wanted to teach that it's everyone, but it's not the way they are now. Eventually, they will come to be like that. The Rebbe teaches. The Rebbe takes a whole other level that Taka every year, even the way they are now, they're tzaddikim, they do mitzvahs. Even the way they are now, they have a Cheleck in Olam Habah. Because everyone does get mitzvahs, and every year we're the children of the Eibush there, and that's why we all have a Cheleck in Olam Habah. And this is one. This is dealing with those three questions about how could he. So till now we dealt with the three big questions. How could he say every Yid is a tzaddik? How could he say every Yid has a Cheleck in Olam Habah? And how could you say that every Yid is filled with mitzvah like everything? So that's what he dealt with.
And basically also, when this Mishnah comes to say this, it's bypassing the Gan Eden, right?
Because Gan Eden, not everyone has a Cheleck in Gan Eden. There's one more part of the discussion of the Mishnah that everyone asks. That if you read the Mishnah, it's very funny. We say Kol Yisrael Yesh Lahem Cheleck Olam Habah. Every has Cheleck Olam Habah, and then you read the next half of the Mishnah. It says the Elu She'ein Lahem Cheleck Olam Habah. These are the people that don't have a Cheleck in Olam Habah. So what's going on? So Pashtus, he was saying that. So actually, before we get into that question, but there's someone asked wrote a letter to the Rebbe that how could it be the Rebbe says that everyone has a Cheleck in Olam Habah, but how could it be a lot of people who they do certain averos who say they don't have a Cheleck in Olam Habah? So first the Rebbe gives you like a list of a few different ways that even people who did those averos could get back their Cheleck in Olam Habah.
You mean they don't lose the part unless they can make Baal Tshuva?
There's certain ways they could earn it back.
The question is,
so the Rebbe gives there's a bunch of different ways how they could earn it back. So the first way is Pashat Tshuva. Look in the Rambam, the 11th Ma'amakim, the Rambam says that even 1 second, the second before you do Tshuva, you get back your Cheleck in Olam Habah.
The Rambam Yotze this Shabbat.
The
Rambam Yotze this coming Shabbat.
אני לא למדתי בין
read it in the 11th Ma'amakim, the Rambam writes, "Ba'amed dvarim amurim shekol echad me'elu ein lo Cheleck in Olam Habah shmeis b'lei Tshuva." The guy without doing tshuva. But if he did tshuva from his bad things, and he was about tshuva, he is from the people who have a cheleck in Olam Habah. Nothing stands before tshuva. I feel kafar ve'ikar kol yonav, even if he did avodah zarah his whole life, last second he did tshuva, he can have a cheleck in Olam Habah. So what about this? Someone who did tshuva. What about someone who didn't do tshuva before he passed away? Could he have a cheleck in Olam Habah?
That's except that he died. That's already a tshuva.
That's the Indian of a yard side. That you say Kaddish about.
Oh, so there's a Gemara. So that brings from the Gemara that you say with the schus, even someone who died without doing tshuva and he doesn't have cheleck because of his children. With the schus of his children, he could earn back his cheleck in Olam Habah. How do we see this? The Mishnah Sanhedrin names a few kings and people that don't have a cheleck in Olam Habah. The Mishnah, the Gemara asks in the 12th Maramachim, Amin was also a bad person. He shouldn't have a cheleck in Olam Habah. How come we didn't count him? So we say the Gemara asks because of the covet of his son, who was a great mensch. That's why we didn't count Amin, and Amin Taka has a cheleck in Olam Habah because of the schus of his son. Then the Gemara asks, Menashe and Amilei Nimni, so don't count that. The Mishnah counts Menashe. Why do we count him? His father was also a special mensch, a special person. Why didn't his father protect him? So we say, Bra Mizaki Abba, the son could earn merits for his father. Abba Le Mizaki Bra, the merits of the father can't protect the son. But the fact that so we see from here that that's one way, even after you died, you could get back your cheleck in Olam Habah, but with the schus of your children.
Somebody doesn't have kids.
Oh, so look, there's another. Look in the third matter. There's the 13th. There's another Gemara in Sanhedrin. The Gemara says another way. If someone goes through a lot of suffering, even after he dies, the body, there's a way you could go through suffering after you die. You could also earn back your cheleck in Olam Habah like that. The Gemara brings a different way. In the 13th matter, the Gemara says, "Why did the Gemara count Yakim that he doesn't have a cheleck in Olam Habah? He's also a big Rasha." The Gemara says, Mishum, because there's a story of Zakin Rabbi Preida. My grandfather Rabbi Preida, Ashkat Golgalta, to have a Kashadia Bashar Yerushalayim. He found a skull rolling around on the floor in the gates of Yerushalayim. Ksiv ba Zois va'ida cheres. And engraved on the skull it said, Zois this va'ida cheres, and another one. So he didn't know what it was. Kavra, he buried it. But like Ikbara, it came back up. It wouldn't stay in the ground. Kavra, he buried it again. But like Ikbara, it came back up. So Omar, he said, this must be the skull of Yehoiakim. Why? That it says about him that you will have the burial of a donkey. You'll be thrown around. You won't be buried. That's why the skull kept coming up, because that was his punishment. So what did he do? He didn't want to leave it there. Omar, he said, Malkahu, he's a king. Even though he's a Russia, he can't say he's a head of a stolen king. Didn't want to leave it lying around. So Karcha B'Shiroi, he wrapped it up in cloth. Now Isei B'Sifsa, he hid it in his house somewhere. So what happened? His wife came home. Chazisa Devisu, his wife came home, he found it. Savra, what is this? So Savra, he thought this was the skull of his first wife. And Hava the Holy Kaminashila, and he was saying he still couldn't forget about her, and he thought that he was keeping he loved his first wife so much he couldn't forget about her. That's why he kept the skull. So she got all angry. So Shagra B'Tanurva Kolsa, she threw it into the fire and burnt it to ashes. So then he realized, he said, that's mean this punishment, not only is going to be rolling around, but another one that he got burnt up eventually. So
he has no piece in this earth that actually can bring him back alive.
So the Gemara says because of this punishment he had, that's why the Gemara didn't count him as the people that have a cheleck in Olam Habah, and Itaka has a cheleck in Olam Habah. So the next question is, what if someone passes away and he doesn't have any of these tikkunim? He didn't do tshuva, he didn't have a son, he didn't go through any punishments. So does he not have a cheleck in Olam Habah if he did one of these averos? So there's a Shar Hagilgulim brings from Chaim Vital from the Arizal, writes that he says that even though that we say that he doesn't have a cheleck in Olam Habah, it's his body doesn't have a cheleck in Olam Habah, but his neshama will come down. The neshama of that goof will come down in a different body. The neshama stays forever. Neshama, nothing happens to it.
How many gilgulim a person can come?
However much he needs till he finishes
I
his
read
job.
I read only 3.
Only 3?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
According to the Zohar.
Pamaim Shalosh in Gevers. It's a pasuk that's brought by the Arizal in Gilgalim.
Chaim Vital.
2 or 3.
But how does that fly with the Alt Rebbe? It says that he'll come back so many times he has to complete everything.
Oh, so it's... So...
Ich weiß nicht.
Going with the Kasuk.
Everybody second time. That's it.
So either...
It's not a choice.
So I was watching that question. So there's in a different letter, the Rebbe says, after writing, so according to this, is only the neshama that's for sure going to come back, not the body. But there's another letter where the Rebbe writes, in the 5th Maramaki, and the Rebbe says, that after the Isi, the Rebbe found the Medrash Talpiyos, that they bring down Shem the Rabbeinu Bechai and the Rekanti, that when we say, V'masha Sheninu, this is how we say, Ve'ilu she'in lahem chilek Olam Habah, Piru she'in lahem chilek yadu b'knei atzman. They don't have any portion on their own that they earned. But the Eibusher has a warehouse full of tzedakah. The Eibusher, out of his tzedakah, he gives them, even though they don't deserve it and they don't earn it. Out of tzedakah, the Eibusher gives them a cheleck and Olam Habah. Out of tzedakah.
But the neshama come back with different body. The neshama come back a different body. So she can come how many times?
According to this, it could come back. It could come back in the same body.
Same body.
And part of the question also comes up is what he say. People have the avera of karis. They're chayiv karis. What does karis mean? That they're going to get cut off. So the Rambam teaches that karis, that their body is going to die. Their neshama is also going to get killed. Their neshama is going to get killed just like an animal. The Rambam writes. But the Ramban writes very sharply against this. Is how you say that neshama is a ruchnisik gezach. You can't say that a neshama is anything is going to happen. Well, it means it's going to get cut off. It's going to get disconnected. There's going to be something blocking. But the Rambam teaches that karis doesn't mean that it's going to be destroyed. The Rambam has understanding that karis means that that's it. The neshama is over. It's done with. The Ramban writes very sharply that no, you can't say such a thing. It's the neshama. It's going to be disconnected. It's not going to be able to come close to Hashem. But the neshama is a neshama. The neshama never goes away.
The simple meaning of the expression it doesn't mean that the neshama is going to be destroyed. It means it's going to be cut away from its people. Like let's say, in general, there's the Knesset Yisrael altogether. And these neshamot are they're cut away and put separate.
Yeah.
Meaning, practically,
they still exist.
They still exist, but
they'll be
yeah.
Saying it fits with the Ramban.
But it's still Cheleck from the Eibusher.
Yeah.
But the Torah used a lot of time karet. It's a lot of time.
The Ramban explains kares doesn't mean that he's going to get killed. That the neshama is going to get killed. Kares means it's going to be disconnected. So at the end of the day, that even people who did Isrei Karas and even people who did Aver Shein Lam Chilek Olam Habah, for sure their neshama doesn't get destroyed. Their neshama is going to come back. And there's a Medrash Talpiyos that says, out of tzedakah, the Eibusher, because he cares so and he loves him so much, even though they basically shouldn't have, but out of chesed of Hashem, because the Eibusher loves the Yidden, he's going to give them Cheleck and Olam Habah. And